The designer of a CAD software application follows certain set of rules and formulas for development of the application. Except the designer, nobody else knows the formulas that he has followed to create the software. To create a sense of user-friendliness among the users, the designers try to make the new CAD application based on the existing most famous CAD application. This is the main reason that if we understand the architecture of the tools and techniques used in the most famous softwares, then we are sure that we can operate any other newer software applications. So you see, there is solid logic behind development of this course and not just assurance that you can learn any software. Hi, I am Roy, CTO and Chief Content Designer at Innovooks. In my 20 years of CAD design experience, out of over 45 years of total work experience in aerospace, I have seen application of the tools available inside different types of CAD software in a variety of different methods. I have trained over 30,000 students and also have experienced their problems during learning of CAD software. I am also a bestseller course creator at Udemy e-learning platform. I have designed this entire CAD mastery course based on what I call as the mastery triangle. You can see this is the mastery triangle. First, you have to follow a single technique or step as given in the procedure that we will discuss in this course and identify the tool that you should know for execution of the step, leading to operating the software efficiently. In the second step, explore and discover the tool that we have identified in step 1 in the interface of the software application. The third step is to use the tool and practice it thoroughly using the standard, simple and the most effective examples that I have given in this course. And then we have to repeat from step 1 to 3 again and again until we finish learning the entire software. So you see, I have laid down the path for you to learn any software all by yourself. Also, I have created the best examples which will help you to learn the software easily and efficiently. Now it's time to show you the path and help you walk it. This 5 days CAD Mastery workshop is an essential portion of the most exhaustive and well-designed CAD Mastery course, which you can choose later. This 5-day CAD Mastery workshop contains discussions and implementation of the techniques and procedures on the 2D Sketcher and 3D Solid applications on CATIA, Solidworks and Fusion 360. On day 1, I will teach you the exact technique that you must follow while starting to operate any new CAD software. In a step-by-step process, you will learn how to enter and explore the interface and learn the basic tools that will help you to understand and get acquainted with the software easily. That will make you very confident and fearless while attempting to operate any software. On day 2, we will discuss the techniques that you must follow for creating a 2D sketch on the Sketcher application of any CAD software. On day 3, I will teach you step-by-step formula for starting to generate simple 3D solid models using the most used tools of the solid modeling application of any CAD software. On 4th day, we will discuss some advanced solid model editing and duplication tools which are used to create models very easily in any CAD software, and we will design some advanced solid models. On day 5, the knowledge on this day is the main catch of the entire workshop. We will go live and interact with each other while using the formulas that we have learnt in this workshop to decode and interpret Fusion 360 CAD software. You will also receive your bonuses in this day. In brief, this is a perfect starter's course for learning the concept of applying formulas and techniques to any CAD software for ultimate CAD mastery. So let's jump into the workshop and start learning the easy and most effective way. I will meet you inside the workshop. In this lecture, we are going to see the steps that we should follow while operating a new software. First, you need to explore and adapt to the software's interface. We are going to see the steps that you should follow for exploring and adapting the software's interface. Before you work on a CAD software, of course, you have to open it by mouse double clicking on the software icon. This is pretty basic, but you have to click the right icon. So, it's important to identify the CAD software icons. I'm going to show you some of the most popular CAD software icons, which I feel will definitely come in handy for you. This is CATIA, Fusion 360, Inventor, which is from Autodesk, Solidworks, PTC Creo, and Siemens NX. These are the world's most popular softwares. And after this course, you will be able to handle all these softwares in addition to any other software, that is CAD software, that you want to learn. You can handle it. Let's open the CATIA and the Solidworks softwares. Here you can see I have the 3 icons of the softwares that we are going to handle in this 5 days workshop. You can see here, these are the 3 softwares: CATIA, Solidworks, and Fusion 360. So, the 6 icons that I have shown you, if you remember those icons, you can directly see the icon and identify. Now let us double click on CATIA and open it. This is the loading screen of CATIA, and you can see the CATIA has opened. Now let's go to SolidWorks. This is the icon for SolidWorks. I will double click on this icon to open it, and this is the loading screen, and you can see SolidWorks has opened up. Now the next step that you should follow is explore the gateway. Gateway is the very first screen that we get in any software after opening it. The gateway in a software mostly contains the applications that are available in it for us to work, like Sketcher, Solid Modeling, Assembly, Surface Design, etc. Now let us see the gateway in SolidWorks and CATIA. Here in SolidWorks you can see this is our gateway. You can see. Now this is the pretty basic gateway of SolidWorks. There is nothing present. We need to explore the gateway. For exploring the gateway, you should follow some steps. You should always consider this corner as the starting point, because most of the softwares will contain maximum things in this corner. You can see when I move over this left corner, here there are some things popping up. These are the menu bars. You can see this is the file menu, this is the view menu, these are the tools menu and help menu. So these are the drop down menus which contains few options that we can use in this gateway. Now if you go to tools, you can see there are few things. So right now we don't know what are those, but this may be the applications that are present in SolidWorks. We will just assume it, right? Now let's move on. This first drop down menu is for creating new file and opening existing files. Now here also we have this new file and opening existing file. Most of the softwares will have the icons similar to this. So as soon as you see these icons, you have to consider that it is for opening new file or opening an existing file. Now this gear symbol indicates the settings that are present in the software's interface. Like for gateway, there is a setting. You can see if I click here, there are some options. If you click here, some options will pop up. You should never ever select anything from this option. Let everything be in its default. So from left side, we'll move over to the right side. In the right side, there are few icons here. This first one is some 3D experience. We don't want that. You can see, you can click and see what are all these. This is File Explorer and so many things are there. We don't require those, so we will not see right now. When we will require, automatically we will know. Now let's move on to CATIA and explore its interface. We had opened CATIA. In CATIA you can see it's not blank. If it is not blank, then it is not the gateway. So we must get into the gateway. For getting into the gateway of CATIA, we need to close this first file. You can see here, this is some product 1. We need to close it so that we can see the blank screen which is for CATIA's gateway. So for closing, we need to find out the cross. You can see, this is the close icon. You can click here. If you click here, the app will close. If you click here, the file will close. Or you can also go to File and close this. Now this is the gateway which contains nothing. It's completely blank and it is welcoming you to select the application or the things that you want to do in CATIA. Now, as usual, I will go to the top left corner and from here I'll start exploring the CATIA's gateway. I'll move over to this drop down menu. This is the start drop down menu, and here if I move over and see, you can see these are the names of the applications that are present inside CATIA. So there are so many applications. If you go to mechanical design, part design, assembly design, weld design, mold design and so on. So many things are there. Now let's move over to the other icons. You can see there is something here we are not able to understand, so we'll leave it. We'll go to File. Of course, we can create a new file and open an existing file. And others are pretty blank actually. Here we have these options, which is the gear symbol in Solidworks. Now when you move over to the right side, everything is blank. So we need not bother to experiment on those. So we will just move over to our next step. Now the next step is to open a new file in the software. So you can see I'm giving you steps. You just need to follow these steps. Don't move here and there. Just follow these steps and don't experiment on your own. Just follow this step. At this third step, we have to open a new file. That's it. Nothing else. In CATIA, for opening a new file, of course, we have seen here in the file drop down menu, we have a new. So we can click on this new. It is presenting us with this small box. What is this small box? There is part, product, process library, process, shape. So these are few of the applications that it wants us to select for opening a new file. Do you want to open a new part, new process, new product, new shape? So we need to select new part. Always in any software, whenever you open a new file, you may be asked to select what type of file you want to open. That is, in which application you want to create the new file. You always have to select part for creating the sketch or solid modeling or surface design and so on. So you have to select part. This is the rule. Now we will select part. Click on OK. Always go for the defaults. Don't select anything. Click on OK. And we have opened a new file, which is a part file. In this, we are going to create the solid models. Now let's move over to SolidWorks. Let us open a new file here. Opening a new file in any software may seem basic to you, but you should be very careful while operating high-end CAD software packages, because while opening a new file, you may be asked to choose the application in which you want to open, like we have encountered in CATIA. Also additionally, you may be asked to define the units, that is mm or inches, unit system you want to select for your new file. So you must be able to identify the correct parameters and choose during opening a new file. Now let's open a new file in SolidWorks and see. I'll click on this new icon. Now we want to create a new part, assembly or a drawing. Which one do you want to select? Of course, I had told you whenever you are presented with this kind of options, you have to select a part for creating solid models. You can also see the icons. See, it is very important for you to identify the icons, the names and the hints that it gives. You can see here, this is the icon, this is the name and this is the hint. Here also you can see icon, name and hint. So we should analyze these things. We can understand what the software wants us to do. Here, there is a single object and it's a part. So this is a 3D solid model or a surface model. And this is the part interface. Here in the tip we can see a 3D representation of a single design component. But basically 3D object we are going to create by using this application. If you come here, you can see there are two objects here. And as the name suggests, it's a assembly. And here in the tip you can see a 3D arrangement of parts and other assemblies. So if you want to create an assembly, you can select this icon. And over here in this icon you can see there are some orthographic views generated on a drawing sheet. So we are going to create some drawing. And in the tip you can see a 2D engineering drawing typically of a part or assembly. So the first step is you should select the part, create the solid model or the surface model, go for the assembly, and also you can use that solid model for drawing. So the first step is always to create a part. So select on this part, click on OK here to open a new file. And you can see so many new things has come. The entire workspace has been filled. This blank screen in both the softwares, you can see this blank screen in CATIA and this blank screen in SolidWorks represent the graphical user interface. That is the interface or so to say the workspace in which we are going to create our object. So we have opened the new file in both the softwares. The next step is to explore the interface of the new file. So you can see the steps that we are following. First we opened and launched the software, then we explored the gateway, then we have opened a new file, then we are going to explore the interface of the new file. Now let's move over to the softwares and explore the interface. You can see here we are in CATIA now, and now for exploring the interface, you should always move over to this left top corner, and from here you will move over this side to explore whatever things are present all around this graphical user interface. Here we have the usual start button in CATIA that we have seen earlier. There are various applications present here, and if you move over here, there are some menu bars, and now these menu bars are filled with all the options because we have created a new file. So in this menu bar, first in the file menu you can see the tools, new, open. You can save the files by using these options. You can print something, and there are some document properties. We need not bother about that. Go to edit. We can paste something, but basically we don't require that now. In view, we have some options here. In insert, there are so many things. You can see here, these are sketch based features, and here you can see pad. You need to identify the icons. You can see this is a 3D icon which indicates this is a solid modeling tool. Here also you can see this is a solid modeling tool. You can create a sketch, you can create a position sketch. We don't know what it is right now. There are some constraints. We don't know what is this. Surface based features. Dress up features all are dehighlighted because we don't have a solid model. Boolean operations and so many other things are there. So we need not worry about those. We will see later. Now these are the toolbars. You can see this entire set is a toolbar. And these are the icons. By seeing the icons, you should be able to identify what type of tool it may be. We will see that later. But for now, this is how you should explore the interface. You just need to see the things that are present inside the interface. Don't jump into selecting some option and creating something. You just make yourself aware of the interface. That is the first step. Now let's move over to Solidworks and explore its interface of the new file. We will move over to the left corner. You can see here, these are the tabs and these are the ribbons. This is the features ribbon, sketch ribbon, markup ribbon, and so many things are there. So these are the various applications that we can access for this new file. Features, you can see here, extruded boss or base. Many softwares will give you this kind of a help. This is extruded boss. So this is basically creating a solid body from a sketch. You can see. So these are solid modeling features. If you click here on sketch, you can directly see these icons. This is a circle, line, this is a rectangle. If we see all the icons, we know that it is a 2D sketching ribbon. So if you want to sketch something, you have to come to this ribbon. Now let's move on to the next step. In the next lecture, we are going to see the process you should adopt for launching and exploring the sketch application. Now that we have created a new file by following the steps in the last lecture, in this lecture, we are going to see how to launch and explore the sketch application in the new file. For that, we are going to follow some steps. The first step is to find the applications menu. The applications menu contains the applications that are present in the software. The general applications inside a high-end mechanical CAD software are Sketcher, where you create a 2D sketch, Solid Modeling, where you use the 2D sketch and create solid models, Surface Modeling, where you create surfaces, Assembly Design. In this application, you can create assemblies from the solid models that you have created in the Solid Modeling application. Drafting, the same solid model that you have created in Solid Modeling application can be used for creating drawing sheets using this drafting application. Animation, you can animate your objects by using this application. Manufacturing, you can create CNC programs and feed onto the CNC machines for manufacturing. FE analysis, you can do various types of stress analysis and force analysis by using this application. Sheet metal design is where you create sheet metal components. Out of these all applications, our sequence of learning the applications should be: first, you need to learn Sketcher, this is number 1, then Solid Modeling and Assembly Design, this is number 3, then you have to learn Drafting, and at last we can go for Surface Modeling. So this is the sequence that you should follow for learning the software. After these 5, you can go for animation, you can go for manufacturing, FE analysis and sheet metal design. There is no sequence for that. But for learning any software, you have to learn first Sketcher and then Solid Modeling. Out of this, in this 5-day workshop, we will see how to decode this Sketcher and the Solid Modeling applications. in 3 softwares, that is CATIA, SolidWorks and Fusion 360, so that you will get an idea on how to apply the formula that I am presenting in this series of lectures on any software to learn Sketcher and solid modeling. And your mind will start to work on its own and start making its own formulas for decoding any software. That is the aim of my workshop. Now the next step is to select the Sketch application among all these applications and launch it. Let us see these two steps in our software. This is the interface of CATIA for a new file. Now here first step is we have to find the application menu, and the next step is to select the Sketcher application. Now if I move over here, you can see this is the start where we had found the applications. In mechanical design there is part design, assembly design, and we have the Sketcher here. Let's click on Sketcher. Click on Sketch. Nothing is happening. When nothing happens, in every software there is a area where there will be instructions on what you should do next. Let us find that area. In CATIA, the area is somewhere here. In most of the softwares, the area will be somewhere here. You can see it is asking select a plane, a planar face or a sketch. So it is asking us to select a plane. Now let us keep this on hold and move over to SolidWorks. In SolidWorks, here you can see there is sketch ribbon, and using this sketch ribbon we can create sketch. If you see this first icon, you can create sketch or 3D sketch. We want to create a normal sketch, so select on this sketch. Here also it is presenting with these 3 planes, and if you see here, this is the tip. Select a plane on which to create a sketch for the entity. For a sketch, the basic requirement is a 2D plane, because whenever you want to draw anything which is a 2D, you have to select a plane, or so to say, if you want to write something, you have to have a paper. So plane is like a paper. You are having the pen, but you require a paper. So we are going to select a plane. So here comes the third step. Find the 3 datum planes and 3 datum axes. And the fourth step is you have to select the right datum plane to create the 2D sketch. There are basically 3 datum planes: XY, YZ and ZX. And there are 3 datum axes. Here you can see this is a plane, this is a plane and this is a plane. And these are the 3 axes. So you have to find out these 3 datum planes and 3 datum axes in the software and select the right plane. Now in SolidWorks, when we have selected this sketch icon, automatically the 3 planes has been highlighted. You have to select the right plane. So what is this right plane? Right plane means the orientation in which you want to create the solid model. So you will understand this right plane when we start the solid modeling process. But for now, let us select a single plane, which is this front plane. You can see we are in the Sketcher interface of this new file. You can see here these are the tools which we will use for creating our sketch. Now let's move over to CATIA. Here also we had selected the Sketcher from here. You can see we have selected the Sketcher and it is asking for selecting a plane or planar face. Now here you can see there are 3 planes, 1, 2 and 3. You can select this plane. You can see, select on this plane, and we are now in the Sketcher interface of a new file. In CATIA, you can see the toolbars have changed. These are the new tools that has come. This is the profile tool, rectangle tool, circle, and so many other tools have come instead of the solid modeling tools which we had got in the part design interface. Now, as you have entered inside the Sketcher application, the last step that you should follow, explore the interface of Sketch application. Now, this is the Sketch application, and if you want to explore, always you should move over to the left top corner. These are pretty basic, the same things, but here if you go to insert, you can see this insert drop down menu has changed. There are something called constraint, some profile we can make, and in this profile you can see so many tools are there that you can use for creating some geometries. There is some operation, and the same icons are also given here. So in menu bar also we can select these icons, and also we can select here. There is no problem. And then when you move over this side, there is some exit workbench, and there are few more tools. These are some editing tools. These icons we had seen in this operations. You can see corner and chamfer. These two we have seen here. So this is the operations toolbar, and this is the profile toolbar here. Because these all options are present, this is the profile toolbar. So this is how you will launch and explore the Sketch application. In the next step, we are going to discover the sketching tools. In this lecture, we are going to see the basic sketching tools. This tool that I am going to present will solve the 60% of your drawings. If you master this one tool, you can create any linear drawing. Linear drawing means without any circles or curves. If you have straight profiles, you can create by using this tool. Now, which is the tool? The line tool. You have to find the line tool inside the Sketcher interface, and you need to learn how to use it. There is another tool which is a great help for the line tool, which is the trim tool. So, in this step, that is for selecting the basic tools, you have to just find these two tools which will solve 60% of your problems. We need to master these two tools. Now we are inside the Sketcher interface of a new file in CATIA. Now the Sketcher application will contain many tools. Like you can see here, there are many tools. We need not bother about these tools. We want to learn only the line tool and the trim tool. In line tool, we will create lines, and in trim tools, we will cut the lines to create our required object. Now let's find the line tool. You can see here something is there which tells me this is a line. Let's go to insert and this profile, where we can see the icon along with its notation. Like see, this is a rectangle, this is a profile, and here we have line, the line tool. Click on line. For creating a line, you require 2 points. This is the first point and this is the second point. And you can see a line has been created. Again, you can also click on this icon. Click here to create a line. But once you click here and here, that is select 2 points, only a single line is created. If you want to create multiple lines, that is a chain of lines, then there will be a tool called the profile. Let us find. This is the profile tool. When you click on profile, first point, it is asking for the second point. You can see here, click or select the end point of the current line. This is the current line. If you select here, it will create a line and also it will continue. So we can create a chain of lines. Click here and here, here, here. So it will go on creating lines as you select the points. Now if you press on the escape key, always in any software will deactivate the tool. Click on escape and you can see the line tool has been deactivated, or so to say the profile tool has been deactivated. Now select on this profile tool and create such a profile here. You can create this anywhere. This is just a star, and we have to find now the trim tool. Go to insert and let's search where is the trim tool. Always the trim tool and any other tool which is used for editing the object that you have made will be there in the operations or the editing features. Here you can see this is operation. You can create a corner, chamfer, relimitation, and in relimitation you can see there is trim, break, quick trim. We will always go for quick trim. If you see a trim and a quick trim option in any software, select the quick trim because it is the fastest and the easiest one. Click on quick trim. Now what this trim does is you can select any portion of a profile and it will get trimmed. You can see it has been deleted. So if you want to delete a line, you just select it and use the delete key on the keyboard to delete it. You can see you can select and delete. But if you want to trim a portion of a profile, like it may be a line, a circle, an arc, or any other profile, you have to use this trim tool. Now let us delete all this. For selecting, you will have this window. You can see this is the window selection. You just have to draw a box around the profiles that you want to select and delete. Similarly, I'll select these profiles and delete. Again, I'll take this profile tool and create a bigger version of our star. You can see the steps I'm following. The same steps you should follow in any software. I have made a star and I'm trimming it. You also should make a star and trim it. Now let us take the quick trim. You can also find out the icon here. Of course, this operations icon which we have found here is there in the relimitation, and the icon is something like this. You can find out here. You can see here, this is the icon. Click on this icon. Now when you click, you can see it has trimmed. Again, we'll select this and click here. It has trimmed. So if you have two intersected lines, then you can trim one side by selecting this quick trim. You can see. So at the nearest intersection, it will get trimmed. If you have this line which is getting intersected by two other lines, then it consists of three segments, 1, 2 and 3. So using quick trim, you can trim, or so to say delete, any one of this segment. If I select here, this gets deleted. Now the same thing we will do for Solidworks. This is the Solidworks interface, and here we will find first the profile tool or the line tool. If you move over here, you can see this is dimensioning. We don't want that. Here this is line. You can see here there is no profile, only line is there. If the line tool creates a chain of lines, we don't need to find the profile tool, because in every software there will be a tool which creates a chain of lines, that is continuous lines. Click here to create the first point, then again click here to create the second point and the line. Again we can create the third point to create another line, fourth, and you can see a chain of lines is getting formed. Now to exit, we will use the same escape key that we had also used in CATIA. Click on the escape key to exit. So you can see how I am relating two softwares. There also you have to click the escape key. Here also you have to click the escape key. There also we have created continuous lines. Here also we are creating continuous lines. There we have made the star and have used the trim tool to trim the lines. Here also we are going to create the star, but before that we can select all these lines, or we can also select single line and use the delete key on the keyboard. We can use this window selection for selecting all the lines and press on the delete key to delete all the lines. Now let us create our star. Click on this line tool and create our star. The same star that we had created in CATIA. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. You can see the similarity. You have to just note down the similarity. Then only your brain will understand that many things are similar between the softwares. Now let us use the trim tool. Now where can I find the trim? You can just see here. Always trim tool and the other tools will be separated from the geometry generation tools. These are all the geometry generation tools. You can create lines, circles, rectangle, and so on. So many things you can create here. This is another section where you are going to use those things that you have created to do something. Here, this is the trim entities tool. You can see how the trimming takes place in Solidworks. We'll click on this trim entities, and as it is showing, we have to create a curve to select the things that we want to trim. You can see here, you can see the animation. It is creating a curve around to select the portions that we want to trim. Click on trim entities, press the left mouse button key and draw a curve. You can see. Here also you can draw. This if we want to trim, you can see. The trimming concept is same. You can trim the object at its nearest intersection point. Like for this line, it has been intersected by these two lines. So, it represents 3 segments. 1, 2 and 3 segments. So, by using this trim option, you can trim any of this segment. Suppose I want to trim this middle segment. Just draw this line. You can see. You just have to draw the curve and it will get trimmed. So, this is how the trimming takes place. And in this lecture, we have learned how to create lines and how to use trim. That's it. You just have to find these 2 tools, and then next step we will move further into creating some drawings. In this lecture we have created the line tool and also we have used the trim tool to trim the lines. But the workspace has to be controlled for proper viewing of the objects. So in the next step we are going to explore the visual tools and their shortcut keys. In every CAD application, there are some visual tools which are used to control how you are going to see the object. There are basically 5 things that you should explore in the interface for finding out the visual tools. The very first is pan. I will show you what these all means by using the software, but first let us list out what all are the visual tools that you should first find out before making any sketch or any solid model. The zoom tool, rotate, plane normal tool, and the orthographic and isometric view generation tools. So these are the visual tools which are very important for you to find out at the starting of the learning process of any new software. Out of these 5, the first 3, that is pan, zoom and rotate, are very useful for us to create the solid models. By using this, we can view the solid model in different orientations. And we will have a clear picture on what we are going to make and what we are making. Now, for using this pan, zoom and rotate, instead of the icons that are present inside the software, we have to use the mouse and some of the shortcut keys on the keyboard so that we can very easily use these tools. Now for shortcut keys for the visual tools, basically for the pan, zoom and rotate, we will use the mouse scroll press button. That is, you have to press the scroll. You can use the rotate of the scroll. Press the scroll and use the right click or left click buttons for activating some functions. You can use Ctrl, Shift or Alt button on keyboard in addition to one of the mouse buttons. Any combination of these all options will give you a shortcut for the visual tool. My recommendation will be, don't take much time in exploring this. Of course, you can explore by using these combinations, and you will see that after one or two softwares, you will be able to identify which is the exact shortcut. But what I suggest is, you can move to YouTube and you can search the visual tools in any software. You will definitely get a video which will explain you how to use the mouse or the keyboard for viewing your solid model. That is the easiest way to explore. Now let's move to CATIA and Solidworks and see the visual tools. We are inside the CATIA software and we have activated the sketch application. Now these are some of our profiles that we have created in the last lecture. Now let us use the visual tools. First, let us see the pan tool. Here you will have these visual tools in view. You can see pan tool, rotate and zoom tool. You can see fit all in. These are all zoom tools. Now you can see this icon. You can see this is the icon. When you click on this pan, left click, press and hold, you can see the object is moving around. This is called pan. Now these are zoom. Mostly this zoom tools icons will be formed by using this magnifying glass. You can see this is zoom out and this is zoom in. Now the next one is rotate, which is this. But before we see rotate, let us see the shortcut key for pan and zoom. When you press the mouse middle scroll button, you have to press and keep and move the mouse. This is pan. You need not go to the icon and click. You just have to press the scroll and move the mouse. Now, by keeping the scroll pressed, you have to right click once on the mouse button. You can see the cursor has changed and this is zoom. So, this is pan and this is zoom. Next thing is rotate. You click on this icon which is rotate. You have to press the left click and move the mouse. You can see it is rotating. The shortcut key for this rotate in CATIA is, you have to press the scroll, press the mouse right button and you can see this is rotate. So, if you press the scroll and move, this is pan. By keeping this scroll button pressed, just once you right click and you can zoom. If you press the right mouse button and the scroll at a time and press and keep and move the mouse, this is rotate. So these are the shortcuts. Now that we have rotated, there is a visual tool for getting this plane normal to the sketch plane. You can see these are the two axes which defines the sketch plane. If you see here, you can see in this plane we have created this sketch. So we have to orient this plane parallel to our visual screen. So for that we have a tool called plane normal. Here we have to find out. You can see here this is the normal view. When you press, You can see this is the normal view. So if you accidentally rotate, or you want to see the sketch and then you want to again use the normal view, so you can just click on this and you will get the normal view, which is the view of the plane that you have selected while entering into the Sketcher interface. Now the next visual tools that you should know is the orthographic and the isometric projection generation tools. Here we have it, this box. When you click, you can see this is the front view, back view, and so on. So if you click on this front view, this is the front view, this is the back view. You can see the orientation is taking place. This is the 3D view, which is the isometric view. You can see. So this is very handy in solid modeling. Now in Solidworks, you can see here, we have this profile that we have made in the last lecture. Now we are going to use the visual tools. Directly we will see the shortcut tools because that is the way you should work in a CAD software. For pan, you have to use the control key on the keyboard. You have to press and keep that, and you have to press the scroll of the mouse. This is pan. Now if you rotate the scroll, this is zoom. You can see. When you zoom, you have to remember wherever your mouse pointer is there, the zoom will take place taking that point as the reference. Like suppose I want to zoom on this point, you just have to move around this point and zoom. You can see. So if you move the scroll clockwise or anti-clockwise, accordingly zoom and unzoom will occur. Press the scroll and move the mouse. You can see this is rotate. You just have to press the scroll and move the mouse. Now we have to find out the plane normal tool that will orient this sketch parallel to our graphical user interface. For that we have to find out the tool inside this area, because these are all the visual tools inside Solidworks. Now if you move over here, this is previous view, this is sectional view which we don't want, dynamic annotation, this is not our requirement. Here view orientation. Let us click on this arrow and see what all tools are there. You can see these are the various planes by using which we can view the object. We won't use that now. We will see the options inside this. You can see these are the options which generate orthographic views. Here this is isometric view. Also we have diametric and trimetric options in Solidworks. And here we have a small icon which is normal to. This is what we want. We want to create the normal view. Click on normal to and you can see the sketch has been oriented parallel to this graphical user interface or our screen. Now if you click here, you can see there are various orientations. This is the top view. You can see these are the various views. This is the back view, right view. This is the plane normal. Also when you click here, you can see these are the various planes by using which you can view the object. Suppose I'll select this plane. You can see. So you can experiment on this and you can find out how the thing looks when you select the planes. But for now, I don't suggest you to experiment on this simple sketch. When we will go to 3D, you can experiment the 3D visual tools on that. For now, we will require only this option, normal to. Click on it and you can see. So this is all about the visual tools. In the next lectures, we are going to see the concept of constraining. In every high-end CAD software, there is a concept called constraining, which helps us to make a perfect sketch. We must understand the theory of constraining before proceeding to create a sketch in any software. Constraining is restricting the degrees of freedom of an object. Every object in a sketch is free to move in a 2D plane. You can see all these objects that we have created in the previous lectures are free to move. You just have to hold it and move the mouse. That is, you have to hold by using the left mouse button. You just have to press and keep the mouse button and you can move it. So these are enjoying all the degrees of freedom that are available. So constraining is restricting these degrees of freedom. So our prime job is to restrict the degrees of freedom. About a coordinate system of the software. This V and H indicates the vertical and horizontal of this sketch. And about these two axes we are going to fix its parameters like dimensions and relations. There are basically two types of constraints by using which we can restrict the degrees of freedom of an object. The first one is dimensional constraints and the second one is geometrical constraints. Dimensional constraints are used for giving the dimension value to an object like radius, diameter, distance between two objects, length, width, height of an object. We can give all these dimensions by using the dimensional constraints, and by using the geometrical constraints we can give the relations between objects like parallel, perpendicular. We can make two circles concentric. We can coincide a line with another line, a point on a line. We can create equality between objects like two lines we can create of equal length, two circles we can create of equal diameter, and we can also create symmetric objects about an axis by using these geometrical constraints. So basically, if you want to give dimensions, you have to use dimensional constraints, and if you want to give relation between two objects, you have to go for the geometrical constraints. In any software, before you create any sketch, your first job is to find the dimensional and the geometrical constraints. Where are they present? That you have to find out. You have to find out the tools which will create these dimensional and geometrical constraints. Let us find that in CATIA and Solidworks. We will go to insert because this insert contains all the tools that are present inside this sketcher interface. So the very first one is constraint, and here we have this constraint creation. There is this constraint, and here also there is something, but it is dehighlighted. As soon as you select some entity or so to say object, it will get highlighted. You can see it is highlighted now. So you can use this. These are the geometrical constraints in CATIA and these are the dimensional constraints. Both of these you can find it here. You can see this icon is here and this icon is here. So this is the dimensional constraints and this is the geometrical constraints. Now how to give it, we will see in the next lecture. Let us move to Solidworks and find out the tools. Here also we have the tools somewhere. We have to find out. You can see here. These are dimensions. Let us check out this. Smart dimensions, horizontal, vertical dimension, baseline. So these entire thing are dimensions. So this is basically the dimensional constraint. Now to find out the geometrical constraint, we have to see the icons. Here, mostly the geometrical icons will be positioned near this dimensional constraint icon. But here we cannot find those icons. You can see there is no icon. So it may be somewhere else. When you select object, you can see many things are changing. But basically this entire left panel is getting changed. And here we have some words like line properties, relations, add relations. If you move down, you can see The length and angle is shown. You have some options here. So basically these relations indicate these are the geometrical constraints. So you have to find out in this way. When you select, the geometrical constraints are shown here and the dimensional constraints are here. In the next lecture, we are going to create a perfect rectangle. Perfect in the sense of completely constrained rectangle. We will restrict all the degrees of freedom of a rectangle. In this lecture, we are going to create a perfect rectangle. But few other things also we are going to do in this lecture. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to create a rectangle of 100 mm length and 50 mm width or height and constrain it. So we are going to create a completely constrained rectangle of 100 into 50. And then we are going to find the tool for exiting the sketch application. Once we have completed the rectangle, which is completely constrained, we are going to exit the sketch application. And then we are going to explore how to save the file and open it again. We are going to see some colors and messages that we get during constraining process. Let us start creating the rectangle in CATIA. First, let us close this file that we have created in the last lecture. Just click on this close icon, or I can go to file and close this. It will ask, do you want to save the changes? I don't want to save. So click no. This is the gateway that we had discussed in the first lecture itself, and we will go for file, new. We'll get this dialog box, and here we will select part. You can see part. Click on OK and OK again. Now we have entered inside the part design application of CATIA for a new file. For selecting sketch, I can go to start, mechanical design and sketcher. Also we have an icon in CATIA which represents sketch or the sketcher. You can see. You can also select this icon, and what do we need when we select a sketch icon? We need to select the plane. So let us select any plane. Maybe I'll select this plane, or I can also select this base plane. You can see this is basically the XY plane. So let us select this plane, XY plane. Now we have to create a rectangle. So for creating a rectangle, we require 4 lines. Let us create 4 lines first. I'll click on this profile tool, or you can also go to insert, profile and click on this profile tool. Now I will create 4 lines. Let us click somewhere, maybe here and here, here, here and maybe here. Press on the escape key to exit from the command and break the chain. You can see. So these are 4 lines. Of course, it doesn't look like a rectangle. Now by using the mouse middle button, I will move this object by using the pan tool. You can see. Now when I press the mouse left click, we hold and keep on this line. You can see this is enjoying all the degrees of freedom. Now let us give the constraints to restrict the degrees of freedom. I have already told you in the last lecture that there are 2 types of constraints. The dimensional constraints and the geometrical constraints. Let us see now what are those types of constraints. Here these 2 should be connected. So I will click on this point. For multiple selection in CATIA or any other software, you can select the control button. You can see these 2 points I have selected. As soon as I select this icon is getting highlighted, which is the geometrical constraints icon. You will also get the constraints icon here. This is the geometrical constraint icon. You can also click here and you will get this constraint definition dialog box, where only the relations which are applicable to 2 points will be highlighted. All others will be de-highlighted. So we can use distance, fix, coincident. We want to coincide these 2 points. Click on coincidence. Click on OK. And you can see both the points have been coincided. And a green symbol has been generated. This is for the coincidence. The geometrical constraints icon is de-highlighted. As soon as you select this line, it is getting highlighted. Click on this line and you can see all the options, all the constraints that are applicable to a single line has come. You can give length to the line, you can fix this line. This fix constraint will fix the coordinate system of these endpoints and it will be completely constrained. But we don't want that. We should have some liberty. So what I want to do for this line, where I want to create it horizontal. You can see. Click on OK. Now I'll take this line and I want to create it vertical. Click on OK. Now I will take this line and use the control button for multiple selection. Select this line. Both of this line I want to make it perpendicular. Here I will click on perpendicular. Click on OK. You can see. Now we are left out with only this line. So I'll select this line, use the control button and select this line. For multiple selection, you have to press and keep the control button on the keyboard. Now select this icon, which is the constraint definition icon, and here all the constraints that can be applied to these 2 lines have come. I want to select parallel. Click on OK. Now it is looking like a rectangle. We can give the dimensions to this, but before we give the dimensions, all this exercise that we have done can be very simple. I will just delete all these 4 lines and again I will take this profile tool. Click somewhere, maybe here. When you move, you can see at a particular area the line is getting locked and the color is changing. This is locking to the horizontal direction, and similarly when you move up, you can see this is locking onto the vertical direction. So when I give this direction and click, this H indicates a horizontal constraint which is getting created for the line that has been drawn. Now we'll move up. You can see vertical, and when you move over here, you can see this is tracking line. The line is getting tracked from this endpoint. You can see. Click and join. You need not create here. You can directly move over and join. So all the exercise that we have done at the start can be nullified by using this tool. So you can use this method to create horizontal and vertical lines very easily. Now let us give the dimensions. Here this is the dimensional constraint. Click on this. Click here. You can see. Double click on this and we will give a dimension of 50. Now again click on this icon. Click here. Click somewhere here. Double click. This is 100. So we have created 100 into 50 rectangle. Now let us grab hold of this line and move. You can see it is moving. So it is not constrained. It is enjoying the degree of freedom. So what we have to do is we have to create a relation with this horizontal and vertical axis, or the x and the y axis of this sketch plane. So for giving the relation, we can use any one, maybe the geometrical constraint or the dimensional constraint. Let us take this line and use the control button for multiple selection. Select this axis. We will take the geometrical constraint and both of these objects we want to coincide. You can see. Now the color has changed. This green color indicates both of these objects are constrained. Now let me grab hold of this and move. You can see it is only moving in this direction, that is along the horizontal direction. So we have to give a relation with the vertical axis. Let us give a dimensional relation. Click on this constraints, that is the dimensional constraints. Select this axis and select this line. Double click this to give a dimension, maybe some 50 mm, so that both will be symmetric. Now using the pan tool, I'll move the figure to the center of the graphic screen. I'll press the scroll and press the mouse right click once to zoom. You can see. So this is a completely constrained rectangle. Now let's move to SolidWorks to create this same rectangle. This sketch we have created in the previous lectures. So let us close this file. I'll close this. Do you want to save all or you don't want to save? I don't want to save this. This is the gateway. Now let us create a new file. I'll click on this new icon. I'll click on part and click on OK. This is a new part file, and here I want to create a sketch. Select on this sketch icon and I will select maybe this plane. Now we are inside the sketcher. You can see here sketch 1 of part 2 indicates we are in the sketch 1 of part 2 file. Now let's take the line tool, which is this. Click on line and I'll select here. So you can see the method that I am using. Press on the escape key. This is the same way that I have used. This is the same method that I have used to tell you about constraining in CATIA. Why I am doing this? Because I want to get aware of the geometrical constraints. So you should always make this type of 4 lines and constrain it to get an idea how the geometrical constraints work. So as we have done in CATIA, we will select this point and this point. So here also for multiple selection we have to go for selecting control. Now these two are selected, and here you can see here selected entities, both of these points. Existing relation means what is the existing relation between them? Nothing. And here we have all the relations that we can give to these 2 points. We can merge these 2 points, which is same as coincide in CATIA. Select merge and you can see. I'll use this close dialog to close this. The figure is completely closed. So in SolidWorks, when there is a closed figure, the inside area is getting highlighted. I will select this line. You just see the method that I am using. This is the same method that I have used in CATIA, and you have to use the same method in any new software to get acquainted with the same type of tools. Now I'll select here horizontal. Again, I'll take this line. As soon as I select a line, this left area is filled with a line properties dialog box. And here we want to add a relation. We will make it vertical. Now we will select this line. Use the control button for multiple selection and select this line. Both of this line. What we want to do? We want to add these relations, but in particular we want to create a perpendicular relation. Click on perpendicular. Now close this again and select this line. Use the control button for multiple selection. Use this horizontal line. Between these 2 lines, we want to create a parallel relation. Click on parallel. Close this dialog box and you can see. We have very easily created a rectangle. Now as we have done in CATIA, we will delete this, select all and use the delete key on the keyboard. And now I'll select line again, click here, maybe somewhere here, and as you move, you can see the line is getting locked. So we can create a horizontal line. Again, we can create a vertical line, a horizontal line, and you can track this point. And we will close this. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. Now press the control key on the keyboard and the mouse scroll and move this rectangle to center of the screen. Let us give the dimensions. So we will use this dimensional constraints. Out of this we can use this smart dimension. Click on smart dimension. Click on this line and let us give a dimension which is 50. Press on the enter key. Again we'll select this line and give a dimension 100. Press on the enter key. A 100 into 50 rectangle has been formed. Now is it constrained? We will check by holding any line. Press the mouse left click or mouse left button and move. You can see it is not constrained. Again, if you hold this line, it is not constrained. So we have to tie them with the horizontal and the vertical axis, which is this. Now here we don't have the axis. We are just seeing the symbol, but we have an origin here. In the left side, here in every software you will find a part navigator, which will contain a history of the things that you are doing. You can see this is the sketch one, which we are right now creating. And these are the three planes. Let us zoom a bit. You can see these are the three planes. All are hidden. So what we can do is we can select these three planes, right click, and we want to show it. Here this eye symbol indicates show. You can see now all the three planes are visible. By using the scroll, I am rotating the figure. You can see all the three planes have been shown. They are not hidden anymore. Now we'll select here and use plane normal. We have our axis now. We can use this as an axis and this as an axis. And of course in this plane we are now working. We'll select this line, use the control button for multiple selection and use this plane, which will act as an axis. And both of this, what we want to do? We want to create a collinearity between them. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. Now if you move this, we need to give a relation with the vertical axis, which is this. And here also you can see these two lines have changed color. Earlier they were blue, now they have converted into black, which indicates both of them are constrained. Now I'll just hold this and move, maybe somewhere here, and give a dimensional relation between this plane and maybe this line. I'll give a relation maybe some 50 mm. You can see here. You can also select these three planes, right click, and this is hide. So all the three planes will be hidden. So this is completely constrained geometry. Now that we have created a completely constrained rectangle of 100 into 50, the next step is to find the tool which is used for exiting the sketch application. Now in Solidworks we have to find the term exit sketch or exit workbench or exit application. Anything with a exit. You can see first we will move over to the left top corner. Here we have this exit sketch. Just click on this and the sketch has been exited. You can see the color and the dimensions have gone. So this is the solid modeling application of Solidworks. Now similarly I'll go to CATIA. Now this is CATIA. And as I have told you in Solidworks, there is a part tree where it will store the history of whatever we are doing in this file. Also, it will contain the planes. You can see these are the 3 planes, XY, YZ and ZX. And here we have created this sketch 1 under this part body which represents a solid body. Now let us find the exit workbench. So if you move over here, there is no exit workbench here. If you come over here, you can see exit workbench. You can click here, or you can also go to start, mechanical design, and you can select part design. You will exit automatically. But let us click on this exit workbench. You can see now we are in the part design interface for creating solid modeling inside CATIA. Now that we have exited sketch application, let us save the file and open it again. Now in CATIA, I will go to File, Save As, and in Desktop, I will save this file as Rectangle. Click on Save. The file extension for a CATIA file will be CAT part. Click on Save. In Solidworks, here we will go to this file, Save As, and we'll go to Desktop. Here also we will save this file as Rectangle. The file extension for solid part file will be SLD part. Click on Save. You can see here the file name is given here. Let us close this file. So now the Solidworks interface is completely clean and the gateway has been displayed. Similarly in CATIA, we will close this file and this is the gateway. Now let us open the file. Click on File, Open. I'll go to Desktop and we have the file here. You can see rectangle.cat part. Click on Open and the file has opened. Similarly, we'll go to Solidworks, click on Open, we'll go to Desktop and here we have rectangle.sld part. Click on Open and the file has opened. Suppose we want to enter inside the sketch. You just have to double click on this rectangle. We have entered inside the Sketcher application of Solidworks, which contains the rectangle that we had constrained. In CATIA also, when you double click on this sketch, you can get into the Sketcher interface. Now let us discuss the colors and messages that we get during constraining. This figure is completely constrained in CATIA. Suppose, let me take this line, use the control button for multiple selection and take this axis. When you select this and go for coincidence, click on OK, you can see there are some colors. This color indicates inconsistent geometry, which indicates that you have already given a dimension 50 from this line to this axis. Again you are saying that these two are coincident. So it is an inconsistency. So either you delete this or you delete the constraint which is coincidence as displayed here. You can remove a constraint in CATIA by just selecting the geometrical constraint or the dimensional constraint and use the delete key on the keyboard. Suppose I want to delete this geometrical constraint which is coincide. Click on this geometrical constraint and delete. You can see now it is green again. So green indicates the geometry is completely constrained. So you will get many errors or messages and also these colors which indicates you have not given the constraint properly. Let us take the dimension. Here I have given from this axis to this line as 50. Suppose I'll take this axis and I'll take this line. You can see this is called over constraining. Already we have given 50 here and 100 here. So why we need to give 50 here? 50 plus 50 is equal to 100. So any one of these three we should delete. We can select any one and delete. So suppose I select this dimension and delete. Now the figure is okay. So you get colors when you give over constraints and also you give some inconsistent constraints. So whenever you face any colors or any messages, that indicates you have not done the constraining properly. So just check your drawing. In Solidworks also, if you see here, let us bring back our plane. I'll bring back this front plane and again this plane. You can see these two are the planes. Now here I'll take this line and I'll take this plane, and both of these can be made collinear. Click on collinear. Here there are some messages. There are so many colors here, and here there is also a message. The sketch is over-defined. Click here to resolve the conflict. But we know what is the conflict. So you can select here in over-defined and diagnose. So it will give you some options to solve your problem. The first option that it gives is, you can see here there are two results. First option is accepting the solution will delete the following relation. So this distance will be deleted. You can see, but we don't want to delete the distance. Now the next solution is you can delete this collinearity. So you can just accept this. Now your sketch is okay. Let us undo. There is also a shortcut because we know what is creating the over constraining. So we can select this edge and you can see here all the relations that have been given to this line is coming here. So we can delete this collinearity. As soon as you select this collinear, you can see both of these are getting highlighted. Now just right click and delete. Now you can see the sketch is completely constrained. In Solidworks, a completely constrained line or a object will be of black color. In the next lecture, we are going to practice on a simple example so that we will get a clear picture on constraining, on creating some geometries, and also the interface of the CAD software. In this lecture, we are going to create example 1.1, which is this drawing. We are going to create a fully constrained geometry for this example. This we are going to do simultaneously using Solidworks and CATIA. Do remember that I am teaching you the technique. Don't focus on learning the software. Focus on learning the technique. I'll show you the examples simultaneously so that you will get a clear picture on the relation between the tools that are used in one software with the other software. You have to just focus on the similarity, and that similarity you have to use in any other software. Let us start. First we will create the boundary, which is this. You can see this is the entire boundary. So this entire boundary we will create, and then we will go for this interior things. So let's start. Let us open a new file in CATIA. It will be the part file. Click on OK. Click on OK again, and we will use sketch. Select this plane. Now we are inside the sketcher application of new file of CATIA. Let us create the boundary. If you see the drawing here, we want to create this boundary. So let us start with creating a rough sketch of this boundary. So we will create this entire thing. Let us do it. We'll take profile. Click here. We'll create a horizontal line, vertical line, another horizontal line, vertical. This horizontal line will create and we'll drag this point and join. So this is the rough sketch. We'll go to Solidworks. Here also we'll create a new file, a new part file. Click on OK. And we will take sketch. we'll take this plane and we'll take a line and create a rough sketch. Click here, a horizontal line, a vertical line, another horizontal, vertical line, and we will drag this point and join. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. You can see we have a rough closed sketch. Now let us give the dimensions. Now if you see here, this is 15 mm and this is 25 mm. So we have got the dimension of this step. Next, this entire thing is 100 and this entire thing is 60. So with these dimensions, we can constrain the boundary. Let us see. In CATIA, let us constrain this boundary. Whenever you attempt any sketch, first create the relation with the coordinate system. I want to keep this line on this axis. We'll use coincidence. Again, this line and this axis. Coincidence. Click on OK. You can see both of these are coincident. They have turned into green. Now let us give the dimensions. You can select this dimensional constraints and I'll select this line. We'll give a value of 25. Again, we'll select dimensional constraint, select this line and we'll give a value of 15. Enter. You can see all these are constrained. Now we are left out with these two lines. You might have seen whenever I click this, we have to click once and then give the dimension once. Again go for clicking this. If you want to lock the activation of this tool, then just double click in CATIA. You can see this dimension is 60, 60, enter. Here this orange indicates the tool is active. You just select this line, double click and give the dimension. This is 100. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. The boundary is completely constrained, which is displayed by the green color. Now this boundary we will constrain in Solidworks. The procedure that I have followed in CATIA, I will use it here in Solidworks. Your job is to see the same process is applicable here or not, so that you will have a clear idea on the technique and not the tools. Tools are just the things which are there for implementing the techniques. You have to learn the techniques. First in CATIA what I have told you is you have to create the relation with the datum axis. So for displaying the datum axis, we can use this plane. This is the front plane and this is the right plane. Both of this we will unhide. Now I'll take this line, use the control key for multiple selection, select this plane and I'll use collinearity. Again, press on the escape key or you can also click the tick. I'll select these two entities or objects and collinearity between them. Now let's hide this so that we can see our sketch clearly. Here also you can see this line and this line have changed their colors to black. Now let us give the dimensional constraints. We'll take this smart dimension and let us give the dimensions. First, let us give this dimension 25, enter. Again, this dimension will give, which is 15, enter. Now, this entire thing is 60 and this entire length is 100. And you can see the sketch is completely constrained. Here there is a notation which says fully defined. This means the sketch is fully defined or fully constrained. So you can also see this, but I recommend seeing the colors. The entire sketch is black. That indicates it is fully constrained. Also, you can just hold the line and move by using the left mouse button. You just press and keep the left mouse button, hold the object and move. In that way also you can find out a object is fully constrained or not. Now let us create the inside objects of this drawing. First let us create this rectangle, which is 20 into 25 and it is positioned at 35 mm from this line and 20 mm from this line. Let us see. We'll take line and create a rectangle, or also you can take this rectangle. Click on this rectangle tool and simply click here and click another point to create a rectangle. You can see. Now let us give the dimensions. We'll take dimension. This dimension is 25. This is 20. Now from here to this line, this dimension we have been given as 35, and from here to this line, this dimension we have been given as 20. You can see the sketch is fully defined, or entire thing is completely constrained. Now the same rectangle I'll create in CATIA. You can go to profile tool and create 4 lines, or we have this rectangle tool. Here also you can create the rectangle by clicking on 2 diagonal points. Click here and another point to create a rectangle. Now I will double click on this constraints, which is the dimensional constraints, to lock it, and I'll give the dimensions. This length is given as 25. This is given as 20. Again from here to here, this dimension is given as 35. From here to here, this dimension is given as 20. And you can see the rectangle is completely constrained. So just see the technique. I am constraining a rectangle in Solidworks and in CATIA. The process is same, but only the tools are slightly different. So focus on the process. Now let's move to the next geometry. Here we will create this rectangle and this rectangle. So here for creating this profile, we have to create 2 lines and constrain them by using 15 and 40. Then we have to create this and constrain it by using this 26, 15 and 10. Let us do it and see. So in CATIA, we'll take this profile tool, click somewhere here on the line, create a vertical line, and we'll move over here and click somewhere here. So as you are a newbie to the software, so you can click somewhere here so that there are no automatic constraints created and it won't be having any inconsistencies. After I create such a line, we can use the trimming option and trim this extra portion. Now just click on dimensioning. We'll take this dimension, which is given as 15, and again we'll take dimensioning and we'll select this line 40 mm. Let's move over to Solidworks. We'll take line tool, select this line, so it will create a point on that line. We'll move downwards to create a vertical line, and again here also, if you want, you can click here so that a perfect line will be generated. But if you are not able to create, you can click somewhere here. Press on the escape key and we will go for trimming. click on Trim Entities and trim this object. Now, let us give the dimensions. This dimension we have been given as 1515 and we'll take this line. This is of dimension 40. You can see the rectangle is completely constrained. Now, we'll take line and click somewhere on this line. Create a vertical line. Click somewhere here. Create a horizontal line. And again a vertical line may be somewhere here. Press on the escape key. We'll take Trim Entities and trim this portion. Press on the escape key because trimming is complete. Now, we'll take Smart Dimensions from this line to this line. The dimension has been given as 15. You can see here, this is 15, this is 10 and this is 26. From here to here, this is 10 and this dimension is 26. So this sketch is completely constrained. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. So in Solidworks, we have completed the sketch. Now let's move over to CATIA. And here also we will take Profile. Click here. Move down. We'll create a horizontal line and a vertical line. Press on the escape key. We'll go for trimming. Trim this line. Now double click on dimensioning from here to here. This dimension is 15. This dimension is 10 mm and this length is 26. So with this we have completed the example 1.1. You can see that as I have created this example 1.1 simultaneously in both these softwares, that is CATIA and SolidWorks, you can see there are various similarities between the tools and the process that we are using for creating the constraint geometry is exactly the same. This process is same for any software. So this is the logic behind creating this course. You have to learn the process or the technique, which is the real secret for learning any software. In the next lecture, we are going to start creating circles.